Hello and welcome to episode 201. And guess what? The girls are out. I'm having fun. I'm Rick Fan over the Rickatron here. I am joined by two of the best members of the community. We're going to break all the rules. First of all, there's three of us, and I love it. First up, Jim Jones, my man. How you doing?
Good to see you, Rick. Yeah, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
You know what? I'm actually fantastic, but this Veeam thing is going to hit me real soon. So don't ask me in
Yep.
a week.
Yeah.
Jim, you're one of the OGs as they get. Take a moment to introduce yourself. I know we've featured your content and more over the years, but I'd like everyone to get to know you here.
Yeah, the O stands for old. That's what we're boiling down to at this point. But yes, I'm Jim Jones. I'm a senior product infrastructure architect at 1111 Systems, big Veeam partner, and really focus on the data protection products here and being looking to move us forward and love this community. Rick, thank you for having me.
Wouldn't be the same without you. And first class of Vanguards going all the way back to 2014 or 15. I don't know, but
15.
you got the
Yeah.
fancy trophy. I don't even have the fancy trophy, but you have.
Did you break it like many
No,
of us?
Kirsten has it. Kirsten has it.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Welcome, Jim. Thanks for joining me here today.
Yeah.
Also got a new special, I'll just say special guest here as well. Tyler Jurgens from Canada. Tyler, did I say the name right?
You did. You nailed it, Rick.
Gosh, I wasn't
100%.
sure if it kind of goes like a Y. You know,
Nope.
Some people might mess it up that way. But, Tyler, also FOV, friend of Veeam. Why don't you give an intro as well?
I'm Tyler Jurgens. I've been using Veeam for quite a few years, and like Mr. Jones and me, part of mainly in service providers over the years. But I got some exciting new news coming up. Starting Monday, I'll be part of the Veeam team itself. Looking really forward to that. That one's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm
Congrats,
really happy
bud.
for you. Congratulations on that. We've been talking internally. I've already littered his teams with a few messages and stuff. But especially both of you currently as service providers, partnerships are in Veeam's DNA. And one step further, the service providers, they are the ultimate tinkerers. It's like I kind of get afraid when Jim's going to ask me a question because he's gone deeper than I have on it. So no, love how you guys love the stuff. All right, the ladies are gone. I have figured out some content, and we've all worked together on this. And we're going to start first up with a cool share from Marco Escobar, who's now on our product management team. He's got this scanner, and this caught both of your eyes. So either of you want to talk about what you liked here?
Yeah, so I'll start talking about this a little bit. So not only is this interesting, but I do want to do a little bit of a throwback. So about a month ago, he released something called the Veeam Decoys project as well, which is also open source. Allows you to deploy dummy VBR servers and other Veeam components into your environments so that as you have attackers, as you have things out there, you can actually honeypot that need. So Marco's been doing a phenomenal job and then sharing openly in the community the capability to do security things in and around Veeam. These aren't, he is in product management, but these are being released in the open source community and through GitHub. And so this latest one is a vulnerability scanner, leveraging both Threat Hunter as well as the data integration API, I believe the incident API as well, and allowing you to kind of have a dashboard based off of all this newfound V12 security goodness that's coming with VBR, and it is absolutely the goodness, and there's a lot of it coming at you fast. It's leveraging a couple open source tools to make that work as well, but I'm gonna be honest, I haven't deployed it yet, but it's like sitting there on my laundry list of things to get in and play with, and then call Rick and bug him about it to figure out how we can do some neat things as service providers, as others in the community to like really leverage our data protection to put us on a better security footing, which is always the goal.
Yeah, this looks like a fantastic project. And like I haven't read it. I just took your word for it. But you totally sold me, Jim, on it. But Tyler, what's your take?
I love it. Like you should be doing vulnerability scans on a regular basis as part of your infrastructure, but this takes it to the next level. Like Marco's brain must be wired for genius. Like this is amazing to see. So now you can not only, be proactive with your infrastructure, but proactive with your recovery. So when you're looking at this, you can take your backups and go, okay, where am I safe? Where am I good? And what vulnerabilities am I going to introduce and reintroduce into my infrastructure with the backups I have? Like it's a phenomenal. I saw this, I think even Jim linked it to a few of us here in the community, and I saw it and I just my mind was blown. It's again like Jim. I haven't deployed it yet. I'm a little worried about what I'll see, but I'm excited to get started. This thing is phenomenal. I highly suggest everybody take a look.
I love this at the bottom here. It identifies the most vulnerable servers, but I just really want to know, why is guacamole the most protected? I don't know.
I mean, have you had good guacamole? Rick?
Yes, I have.
I would protect it.
I love me some good guac, but yeah, like Trivi, Gripe looks like some open source tools. This does come out quite nice, and then here it is in GitHub, and it's big time. So definitely sounds like it's on the to do for sure. And then it's honestly, for being a weekend unpromoted, that's actually pretty good traffic here as well. So I can tell you that. So Marco, fantastic work. Thank you for sharing. Thank you both, Tyler and Jim, for the POV here. And I'll have all those links up on the post here. And then there's this guy. Oh goodness, don't be sharing that. Then there's this guy, Joe. Okay. OG as it gets. And I just want to highlight, he's done a lot of work in our security blueprints here.
Yeah.
About some of the backups on scale, like 5,000 cloud workloads. I mean, you don't just throw that in. I mean, Jim, scale, and Tyler as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like how he gives some of these references here with some of the sizings and things like that. I think Joe does great here. Any comments from either of you on this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I love seeing content like this as someone who like lives and breathes inside the Veeam BP guides and am constantly referencing the maximums. Maximums are great, and minimums are good too. But especially when you start to think about scale, it's the realities as you step between different levels. And I love the fact that Joe has been going through in the security blueprints and stepping through, it's not a maximum, it's not a minimum, this is what is recommended if you got 1,000 to 5,000. This is what's recommended under 1,000. It gives you, and then he's got another one that's the 5,000 to 10,000. This is just the excellent data you need to know, because unfortunately, the reality of anything at scale is trying to figure out where your bump points are, where you scale out versus scale up. And this is great information.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd echo what Jim says there. You get into sizing for this. You're looking for deploying infrastructure, and when you're looking at your workloads, you need to know how big do you go? How are you going overkill? Are you underkill? So these kind of guides that OG Joji has put out is amazing to see.
Yeah, and just draw everyone's attention to the cloud backup section. He kind of seriously front loaded it. We just picked the AWS example. There's Azure, there's Google, a couple different ranges. Absolutely fantastic burst of content there, Joe. So thank you so much. All right, so this is the third content I'm going to feature. And again, the ladies are gone. I'm breaking the rules. I'm like, I'm having some fun here with the guys. All right, next up is Shane. Updated VMCE practice questions. And here's the deal. You know what? I'm actually thinking about recertifying for VMCE. I'm very obsolete on my status, but I think Shane's done such great work here with this stuff.
Yeah, he's really putting a lot of effort in.
Yeah, I was going to say big shout out to Shane. These are some of my favorite posts on the community forums. Jumping in, stretching your brain, making sure you understand the content. I love just going through them and just making sure I know what I'm doing with Veeam, and making sure my knowledge stays current. And not only that, when you're digging into the questions, understanding what they are and finding the documentation. Like I I look at Shane's questions, and then I'm in the documentation trying to figure out, okay, did I get this right? Where is the question coming from? That kind of thing.
Yep.
And I'll try to link back to the community as well and make sure that everybody knows my thinking of how I came to that answer.
Yeah, I mean,
Anything,
I'm
Jim? Yeah.
yeah, I'll say I'm in the process of recertifying or getting ready to recertify for my VMCA as well, and he's got a equivalent for that going too. And he said there's there's practice exams and there's good practice exams or practice questions, and both can be great learning tools to know where to jump off to. And it's great that he's adding this to the community to make it available.
And one thing I'll add is that they recently had this recording for the HOL event. Two things I want to draw your attention to. One, there's a massive hands-on lab library that you can get into.
Mhm.
But secondly, let me see if I can get this right. They have plus 19 people. They had a very good turnout for one of these
Yeah.
kind of free community events. So Shane, great work. We look forward to featuring these contents and then just letting everybody know about VMCE Study Hall is always good stuff. So thank you for that. And it's funny because our original first trainer, Mr. VMCE himself, has a new role, but this guy, Erasmus,
Yeah.
he's got a cool post as well about sizing. Sizing is a science, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree. It's I've actually been working with this a lot with object storage here recently as well. And NAS definitely plays into this. And finding this post was actually really enlightening to me yesterday
Mm.
to know, what you're looking at for realities to be able to put this out as a product.
Mm.
Because I mean, a lot of this, especially with the NAS product, where it always writes in native object storage or blob format. It's very much so designed for the cloud. And when you're looking at workers and you're looking at where that storage is coming from, now that the same capability will back up S3, all of that stuff is your worker, you're probably going to put that into public cloud, which means real money. So sizing is everything when you come down to it, because you can take a solution and overbake it and start spending more money than you need to, or underbake it and have it take too long.
And I just realized this post, I didn't realize this was from 4 years ago. I thought it was new, but there was a comment just today.
Oh yeah.
And so this might not even still work. The calculator he's referring to, no, it doesn't, but that's okay.
Uh-oh.
We've migrated to actual calculators here. I'll have that link right. But you know what? I don't even know if I was doing the recap 4 years ago. But
No.
Rasmus, you're getting a shout out regardless. And piece of trivia: did you know Rasmus was Vanguard 0? He was. We
Yeah.
said we're gonna make this cool program. We need, like a program of Rasmuses, and everybody got it. So I think that was kind of funny. So bad on me for not catching it. This was an old post. So just don't tell on me, guys.
Oh, we won't too much. It's the thing of it is it's still relevant content. Because like I said, that it shows the evolution and still going forward and the relevance of this kind of thing that, 4 years ago, the NAS capability was probably about when it was
Actually, it was the year it
introduced.
was released. It was released
Yeah.
earlier that year. Yeah.
Yeah, and so now you've got the same capability. Well, you've got brand new capability this year in that you can support S3 backups as well and object storage through the same engine, and it's largely the same when it comes
Right.
down to it.
Right. Awesome. Well, stay awesome, Rasmus. We love you, even
Yep.
from 4 years ago posts. All right. Next up, nicest guy ever is Al Rashid in the featured Vanguard blog spotlight. Kind of, you got to be careful when I do this. It's like some of these pop-ups will be based on what I look at. I don't know. You never know what you're going to see. Looks like Al's walking through an upgrade here. Pretty straightforward from download to done, and then mentioning Intra. But I know, Jim, you like to do automated updates, upgrades, I'm
Do.
sure. But just having a sense of how it goes is really helpful. But anything you guys want to add, Jim, then Tyler, on upgrades?
Yeah, as always, Al's kind of the king of the upgrade post. He puts one out for just about everything, and once again, he's really good at walking through the steps. Definitely does call out the new Postgres requirement regardless of what you're doing for your config database, it's going to install Postgres on you. So be aware. But yeah, great content.
Yeah, and I like these posts. I think, generally, and I've seen a lot of it, I'm sure Jim's seen a lot of it too, as a service provider. A lot of customers, they don't necessarily upgrade as often as they should, right? And there's more security releases that come out, patching that people need to do. And one of the best security postures you can take is just keeping yourself up to date. And so when, Al comes out with a post like this, it encourages, and it gives people a little more comfort. Like, hey, I can go through the upgrade process. I see all the screenshots, I know what to expect, and I can get my Veeam up to the latest and greatest without, that much hassle. It's a really easy process. So I love posts like this. I know they're basic, but Al does a great job with the screenshots, great job walking you through. And it just gives that comfort, that warm blanket that you can wrap yourself around and go, hey, I know how to do a Veeam upgrade. Outcomes are simple, right?
I love a good blanket. But one thing I want to highlight is at this part of the blog post here about the license, this is this might look different to some people right here, because that's for what we do for one of our programs, and it's like a NFR lab type license. But I want to draw everyone's attention to this little thinger right here.
Oh, yes.
And this little thinger right here. So in the green box, a lot of times people just send it a file, and that will work. But I want to highlight that if you do the blue box, that'll unlock, so your actual customer account from your portal, that'll unlock the Veeam Intelligence AI capabilities. So a lot of times people are used to just hitting that local license file. I understand not everything's connected to the internet, but if you have the choice, keep that in mind. Renewals will be transparent, like if licenses are re-provisioned, but also it'll activate that AI engine. Jim, what do? You probably do the green box, I would imagine, for most.
Yeah, you got to do the green box. Most of what I work with today is through the rental licensing program. And at this point, that's not integrated in sign-in. Now, that said, for my home labs, I do use that sign-in with Veeam. And I've only been in the service provider space for the last 5 years. And 5 years feels like 50 sometimes, but it's because it's definitely being on the fire hose. But in prior life, I would have loved having that capability, because license management is never fun. I'm actually working through some of that with a hypervisor provider that shall not be named at the moment as well. So
got it.
How that works.
But yeah, this is the one area of any install or upgrade I just want to draw people's attention to, because that question matters.
Yep.
All right, Tyler hit on it earlier about upgrading. Is always a good idea. I do want to highlight one critical product update. I think it came out late yesterday, but I will highlight it's just these products, okay? So kind of the long list of the platform. But the one thing I want to highlight is all of these have a similar type of architecture, in that they have this notion of a plugin that has a element that does these things. Salesforce is a little bit different, I should say. But the clouds, the other hypervisors, and Nutanix, notice Proxmox not on here, but they all have a plugin situation going on, and that's what needs an update. Just want to highlight, and shout out to Pootsie, who found it on HackerOne. That's why we do that, to relay this stuff through. But for Salesforce, for example, it's 3.1 and older, right? The current release is affected, so that's the current. And then for these other ones, specific versions are identified. So just want to highlight these. Anytime they're important, I put them on the show, but just let everybody know that this is a to-do. Now, I'm going to just walk into the trap here. I just got to ask, when we do these types of things, guys, as a service provider, I'm going to start with Tyler because he's nicer. You guys usually have to pretty much scramble if it's a BNR type patch. And, how do you guys manage that? Just curious.
Well, from my side, historically, it's you see the security releases come out, and then you analyze them. Like you have to take a look, see what they do, see what the impact is, right? Because not every security release is created equal, right? And then
Mhm.
after that, it's either if you have that automated patching out for your customers, maybe you can do that through the Veeam service provider console and blast all the VBRs out there for the ones you can. Otherwise, you're reaching out to customers if they're disconnected and you have to get in. And it's just a mad scramble releasing, reaching out to them, getting their VBRs up, but not just them. Like now you
Yeah.
have your old Cloud Connect to get
Yeah,
up to
your
date as
internal
well, right?
infrastructure.
Yeah.
No,
And
it's a BNR.
that's
It's different, but
Mhm.
yeah. Then
yeah, it's BNR, but it's not BNR, right? Like
Yeah.
it feels very different sometimes with the
Right.
Cloud Connect components on it. So you're jumping through that and looking, okay, well, how can I get this up to date? What am I going to break? Maybe I've got customers that are too old, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So it's juggling, right?
Yeah.
You're going through, hey, can I get these guys up? Can I do that? And how can I get my infrastructure up to date as fast as I can? Maybe have more integrations. Like I
Yeah.
know 1111 has got like a whole ecosystem around their VBR system, and so it's harder for them than smaller service providers to get up. So,
Yeah.
Jim,
Yeah,
thought?
and that in a lot of ways is one of the bigger challenges. Now, I will say, usually the first step is to look for mitigations, and all the releases that Veeam puts out with what I started referring to as the other VDP, the Veeam Disclosure Program that they've been doing this year, which is great. I
Yeah.
love the fact
Mhm.
that that's happening, and that you guys are actively looking to fix the holes that are there, because it's software in the year 2025. There's going to be holes. It's just a matter of you
Yep.
find them before somebody nefarious finds them.
Yeah.
But anytime a release can come out and you can have mitigation without the patch, the first thing that happens is the mitigation, as long as it can be supported. But then, yeah, absolutely. The validation is what takes forever. 1111 has been around the Veeam ecosphere for ever
Ever.
at this
Yeah.
point. I mean, tracing back to the Island and Green Cloud Defense days. Um, so we've got a lot of things that are deeply intertwined there. So we've got to check and make sure our code's going to work as you go to new versions. So it's a process to do the global rollout that we have to do, but it's a pretty fine-tuned one at this point.
Yeah. And the way I sum it up is honestly, in the service provider perspective is unique. And that's why I kind of wanted both of yours. But for end users as well, I'll sum it up. The juice is worth the squeeze. It kind of has to happen. And I'm glad that these updates are happening, right? We're taking it a lot more seriously and getting in front of it and such. So appreciate all the work that goes into it for everyone. All right, last thing we're going to go through. We didn't do it last couple weeks. We have plus 230 new users. Holy buckets, that's a lot. Well, I guess if I
Wow,
don't
that's a
do it,
lot.
That's
if we don't
amazing.
do it for 3 months or 3 weeks, it adds up. But anybody see anything funny? There's some good ones in here. Let's see. I like this makes
Yeah,
me
I
think
like
of
that the guy has a
haggis. Yeah,
yeah,
there's
that the one with a copyright symbol in his name.
that
That's a neat
was
little
yeah.
loophole.
Where did that guy go? Is he on this?
It's all
Yeah, I
the way to
didn't
the
know you could.
right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't know you could. I know you could do like the tildes and Uberlandis. I didn't know you could do copyright. So Sergey, you win the internet today.
Yeah,
And then I also love it whenever you see like really short ones. Like well, I mean, we're not like
when you can find them. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people. There's not that many
Mhm.
people, but good stuff. And then page 2 because there's so many. Oh, that's funny. Unreal. That's a good one. I always like ones with the underscores. Geek mug. That's funny. I just love what people put in here. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I do
Anyways,
appreciate a good username as someone who's used the same screwy one for over a
mhm,
decade now.
mhm.
Yep.
All right, and then totally subjective pick by Sophia and myself are Floating Cloud, Storm Trekker, Jfish, Deep Blue, Unreal, and Bud Lightyear. That sounds really good right about now. And then
Yep.
Alfred's pick is I am not a number, I'm a free man. You get also longest username award in our
Yeah.
community, at least. But kind of love that. You have a badge coming your way. But
Thanks.
hey, Tyler and Jim, thank you so much for joining me here on the recap today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Tyler,
appreciate joining. Thank you.
yeah, man. Tyler, congratulations on the new role. And let's hope that you can continue the German lessons. That was so fun. That was so fun, man.
Yeah.
That
Have
was
a
so
little
fun.
Gushenschagen.
Yes. So, friends, Tyler was making up words in German, and it kind of worked. So it's
My
awesome.
favorite was teaching Falco German.
Teaching Falco
that
the
was
German.
great. Yes. Yeah, he's
Indeed.
learning. He's doing better now.
Yeah, well,
The native speaker
well,
has
he's definitely,
improved.
he's definitely doing better now that he's a newfound Fatherflugen this week. So
Doesn't Flugen mean airport?
I don't know, but we're just going with it.
It doesn't matter.
What's bad, Rick, is what you don't know is like leading up to Vanguard or Veeam 100 Summit last year, there was a bunch of us that all like collectively signed up for Duolingo and were learning bits of German
Oh,
for
boy.
like months going into it. And then we got there, we just all threw it away and took Tyler's version. It was wonderful.
Oh, wow. Usually we do serious things, but sometimes we have fun. So that is awesome. So, but we'll be back in Prague this year, probably 26 back in Berlin. So I'll have to revisit the translation situation from Tyler. So awesome. Well, thank you both so much. And everyone, I hope the ladies are back next week, and we'll see you on episode 202.